Room 2627, let's go over Think Central Lesson 610 homework tutorial video. So this is a two-part problem. It's on this page and the following page. 4 roommates drove 1,050 miles to Florida for spring break. Xavier drove 300 miles more than Yuri, and Yuri drove 200 more than Zach, who drove 60 miles. How many miles did Walter drive? How many miles did Zach drive? Okay, so on this kind of problem, for sure we're going to have to draw a model to model the problem and figure it out. So on my model, I'm going to draw part, whole model. There's 4 people. So let's divide this bar into 4 spots, and we know the total is 1,050. And so what we have to do is we have to go back and plug in the spots. So we know that Zach drove 60 miles, so I'm going to put Z here, and I'm going to put 60 here. Now on this part, we're asked to find an expression that shows how much Yuri drove. Well, let's fill in our chart here. Xavier is X, and Xavier drove 300 more than Yuri. So Yuri is Y. So Xavier is 300 plus Y is going to be our expression on that. So 300 plus Y, let's figure this out here. Yuri drove 200 more than Zach, so 200 plus Z would be Yuri. So looking at this part again, you know that 200 plus Z here, right here, 200 plus Z, we know that Z is 60. So the expression that would express Yuri's driving would be 200 plus 60. Now Xavier, X, is 300 more than Yuri, and Yuri is 200 plus Z. So what expression would be for Xavier? Well, Xavier would be 300 plus 200 plus Z. So 300 plus 200 plus Z would be equivalent to the letter D there. So the only information we don't know is Walter. So Walter is an unknown here. So how do we figure out Walter's? Well, that's what they're asking us right here. Well, Walter is equal to 1,050 minus 60 minus 200 plus Z and minus 300 plus Y. So we compare those two and we look at what we have, here and here, and so we can figure out what Walter is equal to. All right, this gets pretty complicated, but let's look at that. So Walter is going to equal to 60, which is this number right here, 60. So we have a 60 here. And then it's going to equal 200 plus 60, which is the same as Yuri. And then it's going to equal 300 plus 200 plus 60 here. So that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Let's take a look at C. So we got 60 for Zach. We got 60 plus 200 for Yuri. And we got 60 plus 200 plus 300 for Xavier. So I'm thinking it's C, but let's check D here. We have 60 here for Zach, 60 plus 200 for Yuri, and 60 plus 200 plus 300 for Xavier. So actually this is not right because it didn't compare the 1,050. So D is the correct equation for this problem. And when we figure that out, we have 1,050 minus 880, and that's going to give us an answer of 170. So Walter must have driven 170 miles. Alright, so we look at the answer here, the explanation on Think Central. They did the exact same thing we did. I wish they would have drawn a model, but they didn't do a model. So make sure you're drawing a model. If your numbers are different, just plug in the same model and you should get that answer. So our thinking was correct. Alright, unpacking problem number 2. Anya, Jose, Callie, and Stefan walked for exercise. Anya's route is 2 1/4 kilometers long, so we know that right away. 2 1/4 kilometers. Jose's route is 1.5 fewer kilometers. So that means we know that Jose is 2 1/4 minus 1.5. Callie's route is 1.5 times as long as Jose's. So we take Jose's number, and once we figure that out, so that is Jose times 1.5, and 2 fewer kilometers than Stefan's route. So whatever Stefan's is, we know that Stefan's is 2 more than Callie's, because Callie plus 2 would equal Stefan. So now we're ready to solve the problem. Again, you should draw a model here comparing them. I would do a comparison bar, so I'd say, Anya is 2 1/4, Jose is less, Callie is more, something like that, and Stefan is more than Callie. So something like that. That's just comparing them, showing who's greatest and least. So what we need to do here is we need to break this down little by little. So let's first start with, we know Anya's route is 2 1/4, and we can figure out Jose's by doing 2 1/4 minus 1/2. So 2 1/4 minus 1/2, we will solve that problem by doing the following algorithm. So what you can see is I set this problem up vertically. I've regrouped, gone to the regrouping store. I borrowed 4/4, so I have enough fourths to take away. 5/4 minus 2/4 is 3/4, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So we know that Jose's walk was 3/4 kilometers. So now that we know that, we can figure out Callie's, because she is 1.5 times as long as Jose's. So we do 3/4 times 1/2. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do improper fraction. I'm going to do 3/4 times 3/2. And that's simply going to be 9/8, which is the same as 1 1/8. So we know that Callie's walked 1 1/8 kilometers. And the last part of it, we know that Callie did 2 fewer kilometers than Stefan, so that's simply using inverse. So if Callie is 2 less than Stefan, Stefan is 2 more than Callie. So we do 1 1/8 plus 2, and that equals 2, and that equals 3, and 1/8 is the distance for Stefan. So you have to go step, 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 step in order to solve this problem, but it can be done as long as you're going very, very slowly. Let's check out Think Central's thinking on the next slide. So this is a 2-slide explanation. So Think Central did exactly what we did here. They did 2 1/4 minus 1.5. They got that answer there. And that was 3/4, and so they got that. And that shows us that 1.5 times 3/4 is 1 1/8, and then 2 more than 1 1/8 is 3 1/8. So that is our answer, and we got it right. Your numbers are going to be different, but just plug in the same procedure and formulas and model to solve the problem. Problem number 3, Chloe purchased a sweater that cost $24. A shirt that costs 5/8 times as much as a sweater. So that is less than a whole. So as much as means times. What amount of change did Chloe get if she gave the clerk $50? So we have to figure out, we know that the sweater costs $24, and we know that the shirt is 5/8 as much as 24. So we do 5/8 times 24 to figure out how much the shirt cost. And this is the sweater. So we see a slash here. We can simplify this. 8 goes into 8 one time. 8 goes into 24 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. So 15 holds. So the shirt must have cost $15. And now that we know that, we can do our comparison bar model. She gave her $50. The sweater cost 24. The shirt costs 15, and what is the difference? That's the change she gets back. So if you add that up, you get 50 minus 39. So she must have received $11 back in change. Here is Think Central's explanation. And you can see that it's exactly what we did. 5/8 times, they did that. Again, should show a model. The model would have been part, whole. Should have done that. but we're looking for this answer right here, how much change he gets back, and it was $11. 6 teachers, 78 students, and 10 parents are going on buses for a field trip, and each bus carries 32. So, if the passengers board each bus until it's full, how many passengers will be on the bus that is not full? So basically, we're looking for the remainder. So let's figure out this. We got 6 teachers. I'm going to do bar model. We got 78 students, and we have 10 parents. So that is a total of 88, 94. So we have a total of 94 people going on the field trip, and each bus holds 32. So we're going to take 94, I'm going to divide it by 32. Division is repeated subtraction. So we have 64, and if we have another 32, that is too many. That's too many. We don't have enough. So 32, 32. So we have 94 minus 64, and that would be 30 left over. So 30 people will be on the bus that's not full. So 32, 32, and 30 makes 94. And that is the answer. Let's check Think Central. And there we go. So they added up the total. They divided by 32. They took the remainder. So I did the model, but you can also do 94 divided by 32. And it's going to be 2 and 64 with 30 left over. So the remainder is our answer in this problem. 30 people will be on the bus that's not full. Okay, everybody, let's go for the A+. Let's keep studying. These are hard problems. Make sure you're drawing tables. I think tables are really important on problems like this, or bar models are the other strategy. But guess and check, or using first step to solve the second step. It's a multi-step word problem. You have to break it down and solve each step by step. All right, there you go. Keep studying, ask for help if needed, but definitely draw pictures and models.